and this is a regular meeting of the Governing Board of the Catalina Foothills School District. On behalf of the Governing Board, I'd like to welcome everyone to tonight's meeting. This meeting is open to the public for attendance both in person and through YouTube Live. In a few minutes, I will read the rules of order for public comment at Governing Board meetings. If you wish to make a comment remotely, you should have signed up using the Google form that's available under the YouTube Live description. If you don't see that link, please refresh your live stream. If you are attending in person, you should have done two things. One is to sign in on the pink sheet at the front table. That's our visitors log. And if you would like to make a public comment, then there's a purple sheet for you to fill in and hand to our board secretary, Ms. Sams, and I have already received several of those, so you didn't even need those instructions. If there's a public hearing on the agenda and you wish to make a public comment on that topic, you may sign up now or anytime prior to the opening of the public hearing. Item 1.2 on our agenda is the Pledge of Allegiance, and I invite everyone to please rise and join me. Join us. I pledge
allegiance to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all.
Item 1.3 is the rules of order for public comment at governing board meetings. The governing board welcomes public comments at its meetings by providing two opportunities for the public to address the board. If your topic of interest is not on the agenda, you may address the board during the public comments time slot near the beginning of the meeting. If the topic is on the agenda, you may speak just prior to the discussion of that agenda topic or during the public comments time. In the event there's a public hearing, the opportunity to speak will be reopened. Everyone wishing to make a public comment must submit the request to address the governing board form, which is required for our meeting minutes. If you are appearing remotely, that form is available below the YouTube link. And for those attending in person, the purple form is at the back of the room. Speakers will be called upon when it is your turn to address the board. For those attending remotely, please remember to activate your camera and microphone prior to speaking. Each speaker has 3 minutes to address the board. The sound of a buzzer indicates the end of your 3 minutes. In the event of a large number of speakers, the board may need to limit that time so that we can conduct the business on the agenda. By law, the board cannot discuss, consider, or vote on topics that are not on the agenda. This assures the community that they are aware of the topics that will be discussed this evening. If you wish to discuss a topic through written communication, board members' contact information can be found on the district website. We appreciate the community's attendance and comments at this meeting. Thank you. We now turn to item 1.4 on our agenda. Item 1.4 is our super volunteer recognition of Colin Flynn, Orange Grove Middle School, and this evening's presentation will be by board member Eileen Jackson.
Whoops, lost it. I'd hate to have to do this from memory.
Good evening, everybody. When most people think about a middle school competition,
They might picture a basketball or a volleyball tournament, spelling or geography bees, or robotics. But in the Catalina Foothills School District, we offer something that I think is pretty impressive. Middle school students competing for championships in economics. And what that means is that we have 13 and 14-year-old kids spending their free time on Sundays, late start Wednesdays, studying personal finance and economic concepts. And anyone who spent time with middle schoolers knows that making supply and demand, budgets, and interest rates exciting is no small accomplishment. And that's why the volunteer that we're honoring this evening is so special. Mr. Colin Flynn, would you mind standing up for just a second so everyone in the audience can see you? And I'm going to invite you up here in a few moments, but for now, I just want everyone to see you, see what you look like, know that you're here. Okay? And with a name like Colin Francis Flynn, I'm pretty sure you're Irish, and how fitting it is to be presenting this to you on St. Patrick's Day. And happy St. Patrick's Day, everyone. So Colin Flynn is with us tonight to be recognized for his work with our Orange Grove Middle School 8th graders to prepare for the Arizona Council on Economic Education, or the ACEE's Economic Challenge. The ACEE's mission is to help Arizona students become financially and economically responsible in their work and their life. It furthers this goal by providing support to teachers and resources to teachers in their efforts to educate students about personal finance, economics, and entrepreneurship. And it hosts this annual challenge for middle and high school students. The challenge consists of 3 parts: the case study, in which students are assigned a theoretical client in difficult economic straits. Their goal, to develop a practical plan to help them back to a secure financial footing. And it also consists of 2 separate rapid quiz bowls, that's tough to say, one in personal finance and one in economics. So some of you may know Mr. Flynn from his many years, 17, I believe, as a beloved social studies teacher at Orange Grove. And you may remember he was named Teacher of the Year by the Foundation in 2013. For Mr. Flynn's students, his classroom wasn't just about memorizing dates or understanding social or political systems. It was about creating curiosity, fostering critical thinking, and engaging students with the world around them. And like all of our great educators, Mr. Flynn took care to pursue the mission of CFSD, to do his part to help each student achieve intellectual and personal excellence, and to transfer their CFSD classroom experiences into life beyond CFSD. Countless students walked into Mr. Flynn's classroom, maybe unsure about what they could achieve, likely skeptical about what ancient societies would have to do with their present-day lives. But countless students walked out inspired by Mr. Flynn, challenged by Mr. Flynn, and confident in their abilities. My own kids had Mr. Flynn for social studies. Some of the things they and their friends remember about Colin Flynn. Oh, a man of infinite patience. We used to hang out in his classroom during lunch. He was generous to let us do that during what was probably the only break during the day that he got from children. He knew how to work with middle school students, he never embarrassed kids, and he was always able to get us interested in whatever subject we were talking about. Or, Mr. Flynn, it's been 15 years and I still remember his lessons. He was the first teacher to embrace technology and utilize it in the classrooms to keep us excited, which is a major feat when you consider he was teaching 8th graders about the Neolithic. He was a phenomenal influence on me and where I am today, and I'm honored to give him a thanks and a shout out. And so Mr. Flynn, that was from Taylor Nash. She asked me to tell you she ended up getting certified in English as a second language, and she worked with the same organization that you affiliated with when you led your student trips abroad. She wanted me to tell you she's currently a manager of educational technology at a firm in Denver. She clearly contributes some of her success to the life lessons she picked up from you, and she continues to volunteer as an ESL teacher in her spare time. What I think is so great about Mr. Flynn is that when I ask his current students in the personal finance group about him, they all say the same kind of things. He knows so much about the subject and he makes it fun for us. He's always helpful, answers our questions in a good way, and gives good advice. He's always in a good mood, always positive. He cares about us kids. And to a kid, every single one of them mentioned the cookies that you bring into them, Mr. Flynn, and just a hint, the chocolate chip cookies are their favorite, and I hear they are just the best. So sometimes when people do something for a long period of time, say 17 years or more, they start to get a little tired. They may start to phone it in from time to time. They don't have the same enthusiasm that they had for it in earlier years. But not Mr. Flynn. He hasn't changed a bit, and generations of students are benefiting from his deep commitment to his students and his subject matter. There's a saying that great teachers never really retire. They simply find new classrooms. Today, Mr. Flynn's class meets on Sundays from January through March, from 10 a.m. to 1 p.m. He partners with Orange Grove Social Studies teacher Dawn Willman. Their teams of 8th graders work in groups to prepare the advanced case study I described earlier and drill on the concepts of personal finance and economics. So I dropped into their Sunday session this last weekend, and the first thing I saw was a bunch of 8th graders, 36 of them, dressed in business suits and professional attire. That day was picture day for the case study teams, and the kids came dressed for the part. Every single one of them looked great. I saw students working diligently in their groups, the entire room abuzz with enthusiastic voices, debating the finer points of their case studies, their charts, their graphs, their spreadsheets, budgets, and debt reduction plans. And every single kid I spoke to was 100% engaged and focused, and maybe a tiny bit annoyed with me for the interruption, because those kids had a lot of work to do and they were eager to get it done. In fact, tomorrow, I believe, the kids arrive early on Late Start Wednesday to take a personal finance and economic quiz to determine if they qualify to compete in the state competition. And I know that Mr. Flynn and Ms. Willman are entirely confident that there will be Orange Grove teams at this state competition. The Orange Grove students who've participated in the statewide quiz bowl for the last 5 years under the tutelage of Mr. Flynn and Ms. Willman have consistently placed first in their division. And in one recent year, 2 Orange Grove teams tied for first place. But first place finishes aren't the main motivation for Mr. Flynn. Dawn Willman explains that working with students and getting them excited about personal finance are what drives Mr. Flynn's efforts. And that's what makes Colin Flynn so highly deserving of the super volunteer title. In economics, we talk about return on investment. The time, energy, and encouragement that Colin Flynn has invested in our students has produced an extraordinary return. More important than the competitive wins, his efforts are instrumental in students gaining confidence, discovering new interests, realizing they can understand big ideas, and being excited to learn how the world works. The economic challenge may be a competition, but the real victory is in the learning and the mentorship that happens along the way. Mr. Flynn's students are better because of it. Orange Grove Middle School is stronger because of it, and our CFSD community is richer because of Colin Flynn. And so, Mr. Flynn, I'd like to invite you to join me up here for a minute. It is my great honor to present you with the Catalina Foothill Governing Board's Super Volunteer Award, Mr. Colin Flynn.
Thank you very much.
How about some applause for Mr. Flynn? So what we have for you is this lovely certificate that says, "In appreciation for dedicated service to the students of Catalina Foothills School District."
Thank you
That
very
goes
much.
to you. We have a copy of your nomination letter from Mark Rubin Tolles, our principal, and the coveted keychain that says, "Together we make a difference."
Fantastic. Thank you very much.
Congratulations
Thank
to
you.
you, Mr. Flynn. Don't go away. Thought you might, you don't have to, but if you'd like to just say a couple of words, that'd be great.
Sure. First of all, Dawn Willman has been awesome in this process. She's the regular teacher, and she has to organize all these kids, get them into groups, parent emails, transportation up to Mesa, Arizona for the finals. And I just waltz in there with my backpack and start talking about economics, and she handles all of that, and she's done an outstanding job. Orange Grove itself, under Mr. Rubin Tolles, is really a center for excellence on this kind of education, and kind of you get that feeling when you go up to Phoenix. Just the finalists go up to Phoenix. There's a preliminary, we'll take the quiz tomorrow. Then they'll do a Zoom call on March 30th where they have to compete with financial managers or the judges up in Phoenix. And we'll probably qualify 6 of our 9 teams, maybe 7. In that audience last year, there were probably, I'd say 100 middle schoolers, and 32 of them were from Orange Grove. Wow. So 100 from the state of Arizona and 32 for Orange Grove. We occupied 3 rows in the auditorium. They get to the announcing the results, and they said, in 3rd place, case study, Orange Grove Middle School. In 2nd place, case study, Orange Grove Middle School. You know, you see these other schools going, oh no. And in 1st place, Orange Grove Middle School. And it was we're going, yes, yes. And it's really caught on. We started with 2 teams went up. We just did the case study. This was 2018. We had the COVID thing that slowed us up, and it's steadily grown. And in my mind, these kids are awesome. If you had seen these kids on last Sunday in their finest, because we were grading them using the rubric. Actually, we rewrote the rubric. I rewrote the rubric. I didn't like the state one, and they're standard. So we graded them, and they gave us these presentations in their finest clothes because it was they're going to do this on March 30th, which is the day after they get back from spring break. So we wanted them really loaded up, ready to go. But they were awesome, and you don't think of them as middle schoolers. You think of them as young adults, and they're playing the part so well. To me, it just proves that if you create something that they think is meaningful, that kind of pulls in from all the other disciplines, that transfers to real life, they will do it. It's like what Field of Dreams, if you build it, they will come. They will come, you know, and they do. And 35, just one funny story, the kids are going, we said, well, you get the day off from school when you go up to Phoenix. We get a day off from school. We get a full day off from school. And I said, now, let me get this right. You've just given up 15 hours of Sundays to get a day off from school. Yeah, but we get a day off from school. I said, okay, cool.
Some about those free hours in the middle of the week.
I know. So the kids are awesome. We are, the Flynn family are beneficiaries of Foothill School District. I've got 2 children graduated from Catalina Foothills. I've got my daughter-in-law graduated from Catalina Foothills, graduated from Orange Grove Middle School, and I've got 2 grandkids at Sunrise. So thank you very much for what you've done. So thank you.
Mr. Ruben Tolles, I don't know if you wanted to add anything. You don't have to, but if you are interested, if you want to put.
I don't know what, you had such a great speech, so let me just bring the tone down. A little bit.
You can't tell.
So I found myself getting choked up when I was listening to you because, it's going to happen. Because I got to work alongside Colin at the end of his career in Foothills, and he's really a legendary educator. And I think you can probably hear that about what was going on. And my kids weren't lucky enough to have him, but this project and this case study is actually the fruition of a decade of labor, more than that, because he started that personal finance case study years and years before he retired as a teacher. And that's a unit that all of our 8th graders get and have gotten for more than a decade. So this is now thousands of kids that, you know, the incredible curriculum work that he invested in happened. I loved that unit because my kids would come home when they were doing it and they would say, Dad, what percentage of your salary are you putting away for retirement? And I had to go look it up. And then I would answer them and they would say, well, is that in a Roth IRA or a traditional IRA? And that was remarkable to me because no one ever taught me any of those things. And I had to figure them out in my 20s, did a terrible job of it for many years. And our kids will likely not have to struggle like that because of your work. And the fact that you've continued after retirement to invest time and love and labor into our kids means a lot.
Super volunteer. Thank you. Did you guys all get the photos that you need?
No, you have to go
So
in the
let's
back.
get Mr. Flynn and Mr. Ruben Tolles over there.
And yourself.
And yourself. We'll take a Take a moment. We definitely want photos. So nice. Did your kids have to start? Or which ones? Mine did.
Something because of COVID. I think I'll have it was before he was doing like the extra thing, so he had to like
We thank the Flynn family and Mr. Reuben Tolles and Eileen Jackson for that wonderful presentation. Our feelings will certainly not be hurt if you are skedaddling on to something else this evening.
Thank you so much.
I was giving you a graceful exit.
Took it.
This.
Okay. Next on our agenda is public comments. I do not have anybody so far that signed up online, so if you are intending to make a comment remotely, please get yourself situated right away. And in the meantime, I'll call on the individuals who are present and submitted requests to address the governing board forms here in person. So when I call your name, please head up to the podium and begin speaking when you'd like. Bentley Crawford. You start whenever you're ready.
Okay. Okay. My name is Bentley Crawford, and I'm a junior at Carolina Hills High School, and I am in TSW program. But to do Project Focus, I want to do Project Focus because I want go to the university. I want to take class there, like my brother and my aunts and my uncles and my parents. Please let me be in Project Focus.
Thank you very much. And David Crawford, you are also speaking on Project Focus. Thank you, Bentley.
Good evening. Thank you for your time. My name is David Crawford, Bentley's dad. Our family's been part of Catalina Foothills District for about 10 years. My wife works at Canyon View, and we've got 4 kids in the district. And I am a physician. I provide primary care for teenagers and young adults with intellectual and developmental disabilities here in town. And so we're talking about transition to adulthood. As you know, Bentley's a junior, and so we're thinking about that. And over the last decade, I've helped hundreds of young adults and their families navigate this transition into adulthood from high school to work. So I'm really familiar with the range of transition programs that are offered in our community. One thing that's not offered at Catalina Foothills is Project Focus, which is what Bentley was talking about. He's a junior now, and we're walking through the transition process with him. He's currently participating in the TSW, Transition School to Work program at the high school. And We think TSW is a great program. It offers kids a lot of opportunities to get internships and move into work. And it serves a lot of students really well, but I don't think it's the best fit for every child and every young adult. And so that's why we're here tonight. Project Focus is a program that's run as a partnership between school districts in the Tucson area and the University of Arizona to provide young adults with a chance to take classes at the University of Arizona, participate in campus life, and do internships on campus and work on that transition readiness to get a job once they are done, provides that support. And currently every school district in the Tucson area except for Catalina Foothills participates in that program. Personally, for Bentley, this is something that matters a lot. He's wanted to go to the University of Arizona since he was a kid. Most of our family has gone to the University of Arizona. He's heard about it his whole life. He wants to take classes at a college. He wants to be part of the college experience. And, you know, that goal is part of who he is. And it's something that we want to help him pursue. And it's something that the TSW program that Catalina Foothills has just doesn't really offer. And it's too bad, really, that he can't, or that we haven't offered that opportunity for kids. And I know, you know, in our district, is that my time?
That is your 3 minutes.
All right, well, that's it. I mean, I got everything out there. So thank you for your time. I appreciate it.
Thank you for your time. Andrew Hannon, also speaking on Project Focus.
Good evening.
Hello.
So yeah, my name is Andrew Hannon. Again, I'm talking about Project Focus. I'm a parent in this district. Here to talk about my son Isaac today. So to be clear, I'm not here as an adversary. I really believe in this district. We've been with this district since 2nd grade. My son now is a senior at Catalina Foothills High School. He's on the track team, highly motivated individual that has a dream to continue his education, like Bentley, at the University of Arizona. So we want to do this through Project Focus, which is this inclusive, nationally recognized post-secondary program designed for students with intellectual and developmental disabilities. It's operated right here in Tucson. Isaac is eligible, but the district will not sign the agreement to make it possible. The reason we've been given for ending Project Focus partnership is program selectivity, that not every student is guaranteed admission. But you know, CFSD maintains that agreements with the University of Arizona for dual enrollment, and not every student gets into the University of Arizona. But we don't end that partnership, we celebrate them. My son deserves the same logic applied to his future as is applied to all other students at Catalina Foothills hoping to go to university. So, as David mentioned, all other school districts, TOSD, Sunnyside, Amphitheater, Marana, Vail, Tanque Verde, Sahuarita, all partner with Project Focus, as well as many other programs. Catalina Foothills only offers TSW. There's an equity gap here. This is not a neutral stance, and it falls squarely on students like my son Isaac. So we've raised this concern through every possible channel, and the responses received, while polite, did not meaningfully engage with the substance of the concerns. We were simply told that the decision was final. So what I'm asking for is 3 things. First, I want to direct the administration to formally review this decision to not renew the intergovernmental agreement with Project Focus with meaningful input from families. 2, I want to ensure that students with disabilities have access to the full range of post-secondary options that are available to non-disabled peers. And three, I want to make sure that Isaac has a fair shot. As it says on the board over there, keep students at the center of our work. This program exists, the partnership is achievable, and he is ready. Thank you.
Thank you.
Thank you.
Alex Laguna?
Well, good evening, board. Thank you for your time. Apologies, I'm not a public speaker. I'm an engineer. I am an advocate of my son, Max. I get a little emotional. We came here from Florida 15 years ago, and TUSD was our only choice. It's not real cold. The inclusion, the opportunities, the support he's got, we expected this program. He's a senior now, he's a super senior. Excuse me. We were a little blindsided to find that it was no longer available. My wife and some other friends did some research, and they can't find a good reason why the program was canceled. Yet there may be a reason, we just couldn't find it. If it's financial, it makes sense. But like as my friends here said, it's equality. Thank you.
Thank you. And just as a reminder, this item was not on our agenda, so we cannot respond to you at this time, but we appreciate your comments. Ms. Fairbanks, do you wish to speak now, or you are welcome to wait until, I understand you're speaking on agenda item 5.2? Okay, that's fine. Go right ahead. Lindsay Fairbanks.
Thank you for taking time to hear public comments. I'm here today to listen and take notes on the discussion about employee benefits and the rates that are going out. Like many staff members, I find this time of year to be highly anticipated and at the same time anxiety-inducing as we learn how much will be deducted from each paycheck for medical benefits. I definitely appreciate you guys sending the heads up about our compensation getting increased, but it is coupled with the news that premiums are also increasing. I'm grateful that our district contributes to medical costs through district dollars, and I appreciate the proposed addendum supporting those of us that are continuing at CFSD next year. I hope to hear that we're advocating as strongly as possible for the most competitive rates and the highest quality insurance provider. As educators, you guys know every dollar matters to us, especially as the cost of living continues to increase. Because of that, it is essential that every dollar we contribute is used as effectively as possible. I know from what I've seen, I believe my personal rate's going to be increasing by about $100 a paycheck. Which might seem like a really small cost, but it is significant to those of us in education who have a family who rely on our insurance coverage and our salary to help support the household. Thank you guys for your time, and I'm excited and interested to hear what we talk about with that. Thank you.
Thank you. Thanks. Okay, and just one more confirmation that nobody has signed up to speak remotely, and that concludes the 5 purple sheets that I have, so that will conclude our public comment time, which brings us to should be our consent agenda. The consent agenda is items 3.1. Thank you so much for being here. Items 3.1 through 3.9. Does any board member have an agenda item that they would like to pull for further discussion?
None from me. None from me.
In that case, Mr. Logue, would you like to make a motion?
I would. I move that the Governing Board approve consent agenda items 3.1, the Governing Board March 3rd, 2026 regular meeting minutes as presented. 3.2, the Governing Board March 3rd, 2026 executive session meeting minutes as presented. 3.3, the Governing Board March 10th, 2026 special meeting minutes as presented. 3.4, the Governing Board March 10th, 2026 executive session meeting minutes as presented. 3.5, the expense voucher memorandum as presented. 3.6, the field trip request memorandum as presented. 3.7, the personnel memorandum as presented. 3.8, the acceptance with gratitude of the gifts and donations memorandum as presented. And 3.9, the award of RFP 26-05-31, outsourced transportation services to First Student Inc. for a one-year contract effective from July 1st, 2026 through June 30th, 2027, funded through maintenance and operations at the cost of $1,681,544 for the first year, with the option to renew for 4 additional years as presented.
Thank you. There's been a motion. Is there a second?
I'll second.
Motion and a second. All those in favor, please say aye.
Aye. Aye.
Aye.
Opposed? Motion carries 5-0. Item 4.1 is the fiscal year 2027 maintenance and operations budget proposal. This discussion will be led by our superintendent, Dr. Denise Bartlett.
Thank you. So tonight's meeting is one of our most important meetings because we are talking about our budget and what we're proposing for spending into fiscal year 27. So I'll just explain the school year 26-27, we always do the fiscal year of the second year of that. So fiscal year 27. This year is fiscal year 26. So this budget proposal that I'm going to discuss with you sustains all student programs and services and their staffing support. There are other miscellaneous adjustments to other areas of the budget. The new significant expenses are related to employee compensation and additional staffing. We know that successful recruitment and retention of employees is a critical function. It's correlated with the quality of our education programs, so we're very in tune to compensating our employees as well as retaining our employees, and compensation is a major factor in that, of course, we know that. So I'm going to go through some of the revenue assumptions. So when we talk about revenue, the first assumption is that we use our current average daily membership. And membership is different than enrollment. So average daily membership as of the 100th day on January 16th was 4,832 students. So actual enrollment number of 4,832 is higher than our ADM. ADM means the average enrollment of fractional students and full-time students through the first 100 days of the school year, minus withdrawals. For example, a student who enrolls on the first day is 100 out of 100. But if you come in January or if you start late, it's going to be 95 out of 100 or 50 out of 100 days, how many they were enrolled. And of course, kindergarten is only counted as a 0.5 ADM because our state only funds a half-day kindergarten program. You can see the enrollment chart that we have, I've provided for you. You can see that we are in a period of declining enrollment. You can see we peaked in the school year 2020, and since then we've gone down to 5,000, and now we are below that 5,000 mark. Our goal is always 5,000 students. We work really hard to maintain the current enrollment as well as adding new enrollment through open enrollment. As you know, that's one of our goals, is to increase those applications and acceptances into our schools. As we know that an aging demographic in our school district, the average age is 55 years old. 55-year-olds typically don't have school-age children. So we know that getting students from the surrounding areas in Phoenix is going to be very critical to our success and to our maintaining our schools and our programs for students. So the second assumption that we have for revenue is that the basic state funding will increase by 2%. Okay, the legislature is required to increase
increase public schools by the inflation rate or 2%, whichever is less. We know that that is typically the 2% because in recent years, inflation has been much higher than 2%. But they're only obligated to fund at 2%. So that is our assumption. We will get 2% funding based on the ADM. Again, it's 2% based on our ADM. And then we're proposing, assumption 3 is we're proposing to transfer $1,073,010 of district additional assistance funds into M&O. These dollars are needed to help pay for the employee salary, wage, and benefit increases for fiscal year 27. For the current year, fiscal year 26, we were able to transfer $1.45 million back into DAA. So we transferred it out to pay, but we were able to transfer back because we had carry forward that was higher than we anticipated, as well as we had some lower costs than we anticipated. So, you know, that's always going to happen with our salary and wage reconciliation. A teacher leaves at a very high salary, and we hire someone that maybe not is making as much. So we have those disparities often. So this is the revenue line used to balance our budget, and it will adjust based on any changes that may result in increases to M&O expenses. So that transfer may go up or may go down with when we finally approve our budget in June. But right now, we're asking for that $1,073,000. And although our classroom site fund is not M&O revenue, we do include it on our revenue page of the straw budget, and I will go through that with you after we finish this. Next year's per pupil amount from our classroom site fund is $880, which is an increase from $842 in fiscal year 26. So this additional $38 per pupil will be used in part to pay for the teacher salary increase. Since these dollars are primarily spent on teacher compensation, we typically move about 20% of the teacher's salary into the classroom site fund. So we do an 80-20 split, basically. 20% is from our classroom site fund, and 80% is from our district maintenance and operation budgets. And you know, we've discussed before, personnel costs make up between 80 and 85% of our total maintenance and operation budget. So we are a very people-heavy profession, obviously, with teachers in the classroom and support personnel. So it makes up about 80 to 85% of our budget. So our fiscal, I should say 27, budget priorities are: 1, to sustain programs and services and staffing support. We want to maintain our current staffing ratios. We want to increase the employee compensation. We want to increase math FTE at middle school and high school. And we want to add a reading tutor at Manzanita Elementary School. And we want to add a part-time office clerk at Orange Grove. And I'll go through each of those with you. So we are committed to sustaining our student programs and services. We always try to provide a rich array and options for our students, and that's what makes us unique in Tucson, and we want to continue to provide all of that array of options for them. So this budget proposal continues to support all of our student programs and services. The second one, we want to maintain our current staffing ratios. We are sensitive to the student-to-teacher ratio and its impact on our staff and the ability of our faculty to differentiate learning experiences for a variety of student needs. And so this budget proposal does not alter our staffing ratios in any way. Assumption 3 is we propose funding salary wage increases for all employees and maintaining the district's contribution for medical insurance premiums. For the 26-27 school year, we recommend that the first step of our professional certified salary schedule increase by $1,000 so that the starting salary is at $54,000. And that is the first year teacher's base salary. We recommend that each teacher receive a vertical step movement on that new salary schedule of $54,000 starting, And together, the base increase and the step movement will provide an increase to overall compensation within our funding limits. This is a permanent increase between 2.13 and 3.48, with an average of about 2.7% increase. And as you heard me say, we're getting 2% of funding from the state, so this is above what we're actually getting from the state funding. But additionally, we recommend that each teacher hired before December 1st of 2025 receive a one-time $1,000 longevity addendum to their contract. It's a one-year addendum, and it's not a permanent salary, and it's not guaranteed in future years, but it's prorated based on FTE. So all combined, all eligible teachers would receive an increase of $2,910, which is a combination of the $910 vertical step on the revised salary schedule and the $1,000 longevity addendum. This increase, although it's not permanent, it's between a 3.22% and a 5.20% increase, with the average being about a 4% increase. Again, we go back to the state is providing 2%, so we're doubling what the state is providing us for that. We propose a 4% increase to the hourly wages for classified and support staff on a revised salary schedule, which we'll be bringing forward at a later date. This results in our minimum wage increasing to $16.42 for an individual without experience who starts on step 1. We need to be as competitive as possible as in our labor market to keep our support staff and recruit and then hire successfully. So we're recommending that 4% increase. We're also recommending adding 4% to the wage pool for our classified exempt, which is a small pool of people who are, mainly it's our IT department. So they are not they don't work on an hourly, they have an exempt, they're an exempt employee, so it's not an hourly wage. And then we're actually, asking for a 4% increase to the pool for administrators as well. And these dollars are distributed based on performance and the wage salary comparability of like positions in the district. So our current district contribution for medical cost is $6,084 for an eligible 1.0 employee, and a proration of that cost that matches the part-time FTE for employees who are working 0.75 and above. Now, if they're working less than 0.75, we offer vision and dental insurance instead of the medical insurance. And that was implemented during the Affordable Care Act when if you worked less than a 0.75, and you went out onto the market, it was going to disadvantage you to get rates at a competitive rate for that position. So that is why it's the 0.75 and above. There will be a 6% increase to our premiums cost next year. We were actually relieved that it was only 6%. I'm sure you've heard in the news, there are huge increases all over the country in our benefit costs. Historically, we have had very high loss ratios, over 100%. It's been as high as 137%. We're trending downward. Our last report was that we have a loss ratio of under 100%, at 98. Of course, insurance companies want you at 80%. So we do have a very high loss ratio. So our employees are using their insurance. So that is somewhat the reason why our insurance rates have increased. Our company, ASBATE, has let us know that the lowest increase for a school district in their pool was 4%, and the highest was 8%. So we were right in the middle of that pool. Any questions about that? Okay, our next assumption is that we propose adding 1.5 certified FTE for math teachers to decrease the class size in middle school and high school standard math classes. The projected cost of that is $116,353 based on the average teacher's salary of $59,460 on the revised salary schedule if you approve that tonight. And then our fixed costs that include workers' compensation, unemployment compensation, Medicare, and it also includes dental and vision benefits totaling $9,126. I'm including that because at a 0.5 at each of the places, they're not really eligible for the medical insurance. So the 9,000 is for the dental and the vision. So then assumption 5 is we propose adding a 0.5 FTE reading tutor at Manzanita Elementary. So Manzanita is the only elementary school that does not have either Title I funding or excess staffing to provide reading interventions to its students. So adding this reading tutor would ensure that the elementary schools have comparable services for their students. And the cost of this position is $16,993. And then we propose adding a 0.5 FTE office clerk at Orange Grove Middle School. The size of Orange Grove has continued to increase. I think we're at about 700 right now.
Just on the dot.
Just on the dot, and we anticipate going a little bit higher than that. And the scope of the work in the front office has increased with the increased enrollment and then increase of security. Now that we have the system where you have to be buzzed in and check IDs and things like that, it is increasing that workload. So adding this 0.5 FTE will enable the office staff to complete tasks within the workday and eliminate the need for overtime. And of course, we pay overtime at time and a half. So this is actually will be a cost savings probably than paying for overtime. But the cost of this position is $18,910. And again, that's the average wage of a person starting in that position. So the chart below, or the table below, shows you that the teachers' certified salaries, stipends, addendums, and benefits is about $1,007,573. Our classified hourly personnel wages and benefits is another $200,000, $199,206. Our exempt classified salaries and benefits is another $28,679. Our administrator salary and benefits is $97,504. Our 1.5 math teachers is $116,354. Our reading tutor is $16,993. Our office clerk is $18,910. Total is $1.485 million. We had an available budget balance when you're not going to see it on this, but we had an available budget balance of $412,209 when we started putting in all of our proposals. So we're only actually asking to transfer to M&O that that $1,073,010 and $1,073,010. So that is what we're actually asking for the compensation. Then, of course, the assumption 7 will experience numerous other miscellaneous additions and subtractions to the proposed budget before we approve it in June. And those are expense for utilities, property, liability insurances, our prepaid legal services, anything that we haven't gotten those costs projections yet. So we just approved the student transportation tonight, but food service and custodial we're still working on. There's always adjustments. So we'll go through the budget at a glance summary of revenues expenditures, and we'll go through each of those items for you so that you can see where we are proposing and where we have increases in our current year spending that's going to impact those budget expenditures. So if you want to go to the first page is the revenue page. And across the top and down the side, you can see that's our projected ADM. That's what we are budgeting to. So our ADM is 4,627 students. Again, remember I said it was 4,832 on our 100th day, but kindergartners are half. So that's basically what we've done. We haven't really calculated, 0.5 or 0.2 or 0.8 of a student. We just looked at our enrollment, and we've taken our kindergartners as half.
And it's not weighted?
It's not weighted. This is not weighted.
Okay.
No. So the revenue control limit, that base level, which is the 2%, right? That's their 2%. Our new money for next year is going to be 1.358111. 1.358 million. We do have some additional money that we're going to get for the first time ever for transportation.
Oh my God.
They have, yes, this is the first time ever that you used to have to show that you have increased your ridership by 150% to get more money. They've changed the formula, so now we are getting $416,000.
Incremental.
Incremental.
That can only be used for transportation.
That can only be used for incremental, yes. We do have a little bit of increase in our override and our intervention. Our carry forward is negative because we've already taken that out. So what we're requesting, that line 7, is that 1.073 and is the transfer. Then down below is that classroom site fund, and that's what I explained. It's not part of our M&O budget, but we do get dollars to spend. So we have our renewable revenues. We're going to get an extra $227,000 for that. Our carry forward is going to be a little less, about $351,000 less. And then we have interest of $1,000, so it's the two M&O, the projected revenues and M&O is a total of about $820,000, $860.
So are the red numbers that are in parentheses?
Less. Those are less. Those are
Less than the
reductions.
previous year.
How do we get to 820 then?
Because we had
Oh,
$1.2
because
million.
Oh, from the $1.2 million. Okay,
Yes,
got it.
$1.2 million.
Okay, thank you.
So that's the revenue page.
Yeah.
Before we go on, Amy, you asked if this wasn't weighted.
Yeah.
I was wondering if you could explain for the benefit of people who might be watching this, what weighted versus unweighted.
Sure.
Yes, so every student is at least a 1.0 weight. If you have special services, you have special needs, you have you're a gifted student, you have extra weighting, and so it might be a 1.01 or a 1.2 or a 1.06. It's all different weightings, and so they take that, any student, it's all by the number of students we have and what their weighting is, and that's how they come up with that number. So it could be higher, or it could be, well, it can't be lower. It could be higher.
This number could be higher, but
It
we're
could
just
be.
doing a very conservative.
Yes. Yes.
And you're referring to dollars coming in.
Correct.
say-
Revenue.
Right.
That's how we are funded with that.
Okay.
Thank you.
With a weighted student count. So here's our proposed budget, and this is our straw budget. Of course, this doesn't look the same as our budget that we submit to the state. They have a specific form, but this is a better understandable budget for us to use.
Snapshot.
Yes, it's a snapshot. So we have many different lines on it, so we'll go through some of the M&O expenditures. So on line 2 is probably the largest, is our employee compensation for certified staff. Okay, so you can see we have fiscal year 26. Those additions that you see are the proposal from last year. So all of those, the things that we added, all the compensation we added last year, that's where we put that in as an addition on this line. Okay? Then, the deletions in that column are actually adjustments to actuals. So we didn't actually spend all of that, so we reduced it then. Then the fiscal year 27 draft is our baseline. And we have, you can see we already have additions there. And that's going to be tied to our proposal that we have. What this one is specifically, that's 130,000, we'll get to it a little bit later, but we had to move 2 of our employees from our instructional improvement fund into our M&O fund because we didn't have enough funds in our instructional it's called IIF, Instructional Improvement Fund. So those funds come to us through gaming. So all of the, that's the gaming money, when people go to the casinos, that's how we get our instructional improvement fund. But that 130,000 is because two employees that we were previously paying for through our instructional improvement fund can no longer be funded through there because we don't have the funds.
Is that something we anticipate, we plan for every year?
Yes.
Okay.
We are watching this very closely because we used to have more of a surplus and we have spent down that surplus. So if you remember, we added all of our new counselors into that fund. We've added several positions into that fund. Well, now we've spent our funds and we're not getting considerably more funds, so we're now having to remove them. And now, once we take them out, we can never put them back in. You can only put brand new positions in there because you can't supplant. So, but that's what that $130,000 is, and you'll see it on the proposal. So it has the certified, but it also has the regular education. It has teacher stipends for athletics. It has the substitute funds. It has special education and special education substitutes. That's all encompassed in our certified compensation for employees. So then if you go down to line 4, we have our classified. And again, we have our regular, we have our special ed for classified, and then we have their benefits and state retirement and Social Security. So all of those are for our classified staff. And again, those additions are from our last year's budget proposal. Line 6 is our employee compensation for administrators. Same thing with special education and regular education. And then you can see on line 9 is our insurance fund. So we currently, our insurance is $2.299 million.
Is that medical insurance or?
That's medical insurance. And it is going up 6%, although it's only $11,000, so that doesn't make sense.
That does not make sense. No.
That does not make sense, but it is going up 6%. But our contribution is remaining the same, is what we're proposing. Our contribution is remaining the same. But you can see insurance is quite a high dollar amount for us. It's $2 million additional base of compensation. Line 10, we have utilities and communications, which is our water and sewer, electricity, gas, all of those. You can see that there's some adjustments made there. If we go to line 11, which is our other expenditures, you can see our district life insurance. This is actually going to come in higher, so we offer $50,000 premium for every employee. We had an increase this year that we were kind of unaware of. I don't know what percent increase it was, 10%.
Wow.
It's a 10% increase. So this is going to go up to about $35,000.
Yeah, it goes up about $3,000.
Yeah. So this, on our next iteration, when we bring this forward, that line.
$50,000 benefit.
It's a $50,000 benefit for every employee for life insurance.
And then the district is absorbing.
That the district pays for, yes. And then employees can buy additional. Supplemental. Of course, we had to add in election services because we'll be having a governing board election next year. So we had to add that in. Our audit services are increasing a bit on line 15 by about almost $5,000. Our food service is increasing. Again, we have that, we get money from the state for our foods service, but we also have an obligation to match. So some of this is our matching that we are obligated to do. And then, of course, we're proposing that we maintain that $400,000 contingency fund for anything that is not budgeted but comes up as an expense. We're pretty conservative with our contingency fund, and oftentimes that is part of our carry forward. But there are some years you have a chiller go out and you got to replace it right away, or you have something that occurs at a building and you have to flooding. You have to do that right away. And if it's not budgeted for, we really need to have that contingency fund.
Does that number typically fluctuate?
No,
Done 400
It's
for a
been,
while.
it's been a long time.
Yeah.
it has. Well, it has been up as high as 500,000, and it's been as low as about 300,000. But we find 400,000 is about where we need to be. And again, some years are higher than others for the need for that. If we go to the site and department allocations, so the line 22 and 23, the governing board and the superintendent's office, the 16,500 is actually supposed, on our next iteration, it'll go towards the governing board. It's not for my budget, it's for the governing board's budget for increased professional learning. Since we're having an election, if we have new board members, then we will provide training for them as well. So the increased cost to training for board members is the majority of that fund, or the increase. You can see that on line 26C, our band and orchestra instrument rentals have gone down about 84,000 because we are no longer funding 5th grade.
Right.
Okay, so we do 6th through 8th, but we don't do 4th or 5th grade band rentals any longer. We did need to increase NAU Band Day by about 2,000, just as a cost increase. And then last year, we increased our alumni and community relations program, the advertising on that. We think that that is a stable amount. We don't feel like we need more at this time. But if we do, that's what we would use contingency for. So. On line 29, we have the athletics supplemental funding of $173,000. Our business office needed about $2,500 more. And then here's all of our software and hardware maintenance and support. If you remember, the cost of purchasing software and hardware is now in capital budget, but now the support and the maintenance of it is in our M&O budget. And these will fluctuate, so we don't have our new rates for all of these things yet. So when I bring this back to you in future meetings, that will fluctuate.
Can I ask you a question about that?
Sure.
Does the technology override this help to support this, those dollars? The technology override that was passed in 2022?
No, those are student and teacher computers, basically.
Okay.
It's not really the hardware and software for.
Because it was a 7-year override, right?
Yes.
With like, I think $2 million a year maybe.
Right, that's correct.
May I ask a question as well in the same section? Is the Centegix cost, does that come in that section, or is that in a different section?
That is a capital cost. That is a capital cost, yes. We took the first installment out of our bond to purchase the system, and then each successive year will be a capital cost.
Okay, thank you.
Our district technology, K-12 technology, we're going to add about $5,000 there. Our human resources for benefits administration, we need another $2,000 there. On line 37, this is where we have our maintenance, our general operations. So we do outsource groundskeeping, and we do outsource, and we do our maintenance of our district vehicles in here, and then wood chips for elementary and preschool playgrounds. This does not begin to cover.
It's amazing.
You know, we have to have the chips for the fall zones, right? And it's amazing how you can fill them up, and within a couple of weeks they are depleted again. So, but we do refill the wood chips at the elementary playgrounds quite frequently. We're looking at maybe some other. They have some rubberized material that we're going to be looking at to start turning that over. And putting in the rubberized instead of having the wood chips for fall zones.
Non-toxic rubber.
Yes, non-toxic, yes. And then we also have on line 40 our outsourced custodial services. And it's right now it's 1.795. We are going out for bid, so that could increase somewhat over the next several iterations of our budget. You can see our credit card processing has increased on line 46 by about 10,000. We all know that. You know, oftentimes, we try not to, so we still absorb the cost of that. You cannot, in our InTouch system, give them the choice.
To add.
It's either on or off. Now, our community schools, you can do that, you can give them the choice. But in our InTouch system, we can either have it on or off. So we've still kept it at off, and that may be something we decide later on to change. We may
You
put
mean
it-
by on or off?
that you either pay the 3% processing fee, or we pay the processing.
Okay.
So if it's
So-
off,
Yeah.
we pay the processing fee. If it's on, the customer pays the processing fee.
As opposed to having an option, like when you make a
Correct.
donation, they say, would you like to cover the cost?
Correct.
Okay.
So I know I've received several emails from various providers this year already saying, you're welcome to pay online with a credit card, but if you use that, you will pay the fee. Otherwise, you can gladly mail us a check or use an EFT or something.
Right.
That's the way things are trending.
It is. And we checked to see if we could give them the option, and we learned that we cannot. So it may be a decision down the line that we decide that 10,000 is pretty hefty to.
It is.
But we want them to make online payments. And this is part of our tax credits.
Right.
So we want them to contribute for tax credits, so we don't want to do too much penalizing. So on line 48, so 48 through 54 is what we provide per pupil to the schools for an M&O budget. So we provide, for elementary students, we provide $75.60 per student based on their 100th day enrollment. So for Sunrise Drive, it'll be 459 students at $75.60. So you can see each of the elementaries has the same amount of $75.60. The middle schools also get $75.60 because it's a K-8. And then our high school gets gets $91.80 per pupil.
What are these funds intended to cover?
They cover supplies for the schools. They cover.
Overtime?
Pardon me?
Any overtime?
Yeah, overtime or paying stipends for teachers to do extra duties, or it's anything that you can spend your M&O funds on. Paying for. Well, it's really a lot of just supplies and employee extra duties. That's really what they use them for.
Thank you.
They also get a capital budget, which is not here. They also get for furniture and equipment. So they need new desks, they need new chairs, all of that. They get a.
I say this wouldn't go very far.
No, they do get a capital budget as well, but it's not on here.
Okay.
A new line that we added this year is line 54E, is live streaming for high school graduation. We had been using our in-house person, and we just felt like with all of the data privacy regulations, we needed to hire a company. So this is the estimate for that company. And that's how we will handle it moving forward. So you can see our subtotal for the 100, program 100, which is instruction. It's $39,727,549, which you remember at the beginning we were at 42, I think, 43,518. If you look at the up, so that's just for instruction. Then we go into our special education programming on line 56. And so we spend another $165,000, or will spend another $165,000 for a total in our special ed program. That's not employees, that's not the staffing, that's just additional, Southwest Regional Cooperative, dues, and transition from school to work contribution funding. So we have a 60-40 split with the state for our transition to work. So they pay 60% and we pay 40%. So that's what that transition to work funding is. So we pay $96,000 And they have 60% of more of that. Line 57 is our transportation. So you can see our fuel. We are anticipating going down a little bit on fuel because we have new buses. And they're a little bit more fuel efficient. So we're anticipating about a $16,000 savings there. But of course, our transportation RFP has come in higher. It's come in at about, I think, 5% or 6% increase as well. So we're paying that 1.67 million for that. And if you remember on our revenue page, we get a certain amount of revenue for that. And then, of course, the maintenance of the district school buses, that's just our general maintenance costs. No, there should be, we're anticipating that this could go down because they're new buses and most things are under warranty. But this also, I believe, includes our 2 mechanics. So our graduation shuttle bus service and our Falcon Fly-In service are all part of that. And this year, so another use of a contingency this year, because we're having the Orange Grove promotion at the high school.
Oh, did I know that?
Yes.
Everyone but me know that?
Yes, and we're having 2 different ones because of all of the construction that's going to be happening at Orange Grove. They're going to start replacing the roof on the air conditioning and the roof on our multi-purpose room, so we really couldn't have it there. And they needed the time. They couldn't start it after promotion because they need that time to get it completed by the start of school. So we will be transporting students over for the practice. So that's a contingency expenditure. We're going to pay for the buses to take the students over to practice because they can't practice at their site. So just an example. So our straw budget expenditures, you can see, are 42 million, 44, and 855. So we have a balance of 1.473. Now you see our budget proposal. Our budget proposal is below. So what we're proposing is an additional, it's broken out by salary and wages and benefits. But as I said, we are proposing that, I don't have them totaled for you, but the certified is $1,073,000, I think. Yeah, $1,073,000. We have our classified is $199,206. We have exempt at $28,000. We have administrators at $97,000, and then our additional positions that we have in there. We have teacher stipends for non-athletic, so those stipends include student council at the elementary school if they're doing a student council, or they're doing some other non-athletic teacher stipend, band director, or can't think of. There's a whole list of them, but that's we're going to add to that as well. And then the additional, you can see the salary and benefits for the counselor last year was for Canyon View. There's no cost for that this year because we're not adding any counselors. But then below that are R, S, T, U, and V, and W are what I proposed to you tonight. So we wanted the math teachers, the reading tutor, and the office clerk.
Now, with respect to those positions, which sound like new positions, do you anticipate an offset somewhere in terms of other? What am I saying? You know what I'm saying.
Do we anticipate a loss of other current
TEs.
staff of TEs?
Yeah, current,
The
exactly.
offset
Because
being
she said-
proposed new
Because
hires.
of enrollment, yes.
Yes.
So
So-
is
Due to
it,
enrollment
so
changes.
is it, what's sounding like new money may not really be new money?
No,
That's what I'm asking.
because our enrollment at our elementary schools is really impacted right now, specifically kindergarten. So our elementary schools have lost some positions because of enrollment. And other places have lost positions because of enrollment. Obviously, our Orange Grove has not, because they're increasing, right? So if you're increasing enrollment, you're getting more staffing. But if you're decreasing enrollment, then your staffing is going to be adjusted. So we anticipate probably 4 positions that we have subsumed because of our enrollment.
And this is 1.5.
This is 1.5. This is, yes, 1.5. You can see our total budget, our administrative budget is proposal is 1.4 million. But remember, we had that 400,000 in available balance that we talked about. So we're only asking for the 1.07310 because we had that 400 and
To be transferred from DAA.
we're asking for the 1,073,10 to be transferred from DAA because we had some available money in the M&O budget for that. The next page is kind of at a glance. Our revenues, expenditures, our available budget, and then our administrative proposal. Our total revenue is 1.2. Our total expenditures is 910, so we have 298 in an available balance.
This is nice. This is a new chart, isn't it?
No,
It's not? I don't
No.
remember seeing it like this before, the at a glance with revenues and expenditures in the same place.
yeah, we've tried to. No, I think this has been a couple of years now.
Is it really? Wow, okay.
And then our administrative budget proposal. So our available balance is 0 after all of that.
Or should be.
We're spending what we're wanting to spend.
That's the idea.
Well, it truly is, because I think it's that ensuring that every dollar we have, we are putting toward the
Yes.
students we have right now,
Absolutely.
right? And that's the way it should be.
And as I've shown, it's not just the dollars that we're the new dollars that we're getting. We're transferring money from another's fund so that we can provide for a larger increase in our compensation. So it's not just the base level support that we're spending. We're spending more than that. We're spending another
Be
million.
clear that transfer comes from our capital funds.
It does. It comes.
DAA is District Additional Assistance, which is meant to be for capital expenditures, but we have the flexibility to move money from the capital fund into the M&O fund.
Correct.
But taking care to be responsible not to deplete the capital fund because there are specific purposes that money is generally intended for.
Correct. And capital expenses are typically very expensive.
Yes, they are.
They're not a $50, $100. They're $50,000. And
And then what makes it possible for us to do these kinds of transfers is the fact that our tax base is willing to tax themselves with our
correct.
capital bonds and our
bonds.
capital overrides that give us extra money that other school districts don't necessarily enjoy. So
That
always
is-
like to give a shout out to our tax base that make this kind of flexibility possible. Otherwise, those teachers' salary increases, even though we would like them to be more than that, would be a lot less.
Sure. Sure. So the last 2 pages that we haven't gone through yet are the classroom site fund and of the straw budget. So if you remember, classroom site fund used to be Proposition 301. Now it's just called classroom site fund. But there are still 3 buckets. So there's still our classroom site fund revenue. So this is what we bring in. And our total revenue is about 7 million, you can see, because we bring in, we're getting an increase. Well, we're adding this 227,000 because we moved 2 of our gifted teachers right into that. So, but it's about 7 million in total revenues. 20% of that is going right to the teacher salaries. So part of their salary is paid from our classroom site fund, and that's that almost $3 million. And then, of course, we have another $1.5 million almost in pay for performance. These other menu items is just a historical view of what we have spent some of that money on. We're not proposing that we're spending any of that now. We have that 1.6 in contingency. But if you look at our total expenditures and contingency, it's that 7 million. That contingency is actually kind of low. We usually try to keep a little bit more in there, but we're fine with that right now. It will build as we move forward.
How does that contingency fund differ from the 400,000?
Well, this contingency is just from the site room class fund for those 3 buckets, right? So for teacher salaries, for pay for performance, and for the base fund. So that other contingency is for any other thing that comes up in the district. So any emergency situation that comes up and we need funds for, we take it from the contingency amount. So it's not this contingency, this is just a contingency of this fund. Okay. It's not an M&O contingency.
Do you say this is lower than you'd like it to be? What would you like it to be?
Probably 2.4 around there is more comfortable, but I'm not concerned about the level of contingency at this point.
But we're funding a lot of salaries.
Yes, we are.
Here. And it's a good thing if we can pay out more performance pay rather than less performance pay. So those are the kinds of things that are going to deplete that
Yes.
contingency. So it's all good. Again,
Yes.
it's money that we want to spend on the staff and the teachers, or the
Correct.
staff and the students that we have now. But, you know, those bigger contingency numbers are always nice as well.
Yeah, well,
Can't have it both ways, though.
you just don't know. But you can see at the top that $880 that I just spoke
Yeah.
about, up from the $842 the year before.
Could you give an example of when the classroom site fund contingency would be used versus the previous contingency we talked about? Like just a concrete example of that.
Well, if we miscalculated what we needed to pay for our performance pay, or if we had more teachers who we could use this funding to fund some of their salaries, that would come out of that contingency.
And that, again, would be new teachers, because we
Yes.
can't supplant anything we're already paying for, but if we had a need that came up in the middle of the year that qualified to be paid through something like this, we could do it.
Well, with this, with the classroom site fund, it's not like the IIF, which we'll talk about later, which that's the supplanting issue.
Oh, this one doesn't have supplanting.
No, this is, if you're an eligible employee to come out of classroom site fund, then you can do that. It doesn't
Okay.
have to be, a new position.
Okay, that's interesting.
Yes.
Okay, I
It's
learned
just,
something
if
new
we
every
have more
year we go through
teachers,
this.
we're going to take more out of that, and that's going to deplete some of the contingency. Then the last page is where you'll see the instructional improvement, and that one is about the supplanting. You cannot supplant that. These have to be new positions. And you can only use instructional improvement for dropout prevention or instructional improvement programs. So you can see the positions, the type of positions that we have in here. We've tried to leave all of the direct services for our students in here. And each year, we had to decide, because we were depleting you can see we only have 69,000 in contingency. We didn't have enough to leave those teachers in there. So each year, we're gonna have to look at who we're gonna pull out of there, because we're not gonna have enough money to fund employees through this fund continuously as our salaries increase, and our revenue is not gonna increase that much. So those come out of IIF and go into our M&O budget. So
is that why we're seeing the 265K deletion from 2027? Is because it's moving to?
yes,
Oh.
yes.
But it doesn't match the number that was on the
130?
expenditure budget. Or does it?
Yeah, no, the 130, it doesn't.
No, it doesn't match. It seems like
Probably
it should.
because of, I don't know, I'll have to ask
Plus,
Lisa
some of
about
those
that.
positions are going away.
Yes. No, they're not. Those are the two gifted specialists at the elementary. But you can see, we've, these are all the positions. The counselors that we've added over the time when we went through the pandemic, our instructional improvement program, which is the Nest at the high school, our Emporium, our course Emporium teacher comes out of this, because those are all directly related to dropout prevention. If we get kids to graduate and pass their classes, then we're preventing dropping out. And counselors, of course, our response to intervention coordinator, who works with the elementary schools on RTI, and our special education coordinator at the high school, and then we have one learning support specialist that we take out of IIF because it was a new position last year, so we could put it into here. We couldn't put our other ones in here because that would be supplanting. So our total expenditures is that $581,544. Our revenues are $581,544. So that is our straw budget.
Awesome.
Questions?
And of course, you'll see this every week now
Yes.
till June, when we adopt our state budget. And there will be small, and we'll just highlight what are the additions or deletions,
Right.
and any changes that we make in our budgets.
So this was an informational item
Correct.
to thoroughly review the straw budget as the foundation for our continuing discussions until eventually we have real numbers.
Correct.
I do have a question. Going way back to item, and they're under other expenditures on page 3, back to the district life insurance. Is when you say
Can you reference it?
Sorry, where are you, Jacqueline?
line 11B,
On
Yes.
page 3 of the straw
Yeah.
budget?
Yes,
that 33,000.
yes.
I just want to make sure I'm clear. You said that all employees are offered? That's
$50,000, every employee.
every employee.
Every
Part-time
employee.
as well? No less than a full FTE as well? Okay.
50,000,
Okay.
every employee.
Okay. Even like the care.
Yes.
Okay. Today I learned.
Well, no, care is because they're in community schools.
Okay.
So no,
No, okay, but everyone but that group. Okay.
anyone who's paid,
Clarification.
yes. Yes, it's every employee.
Any other questions?
Do you want to take discussion items, Madam President, about the, so I have questions that I could wait until section 5, or we could do them now, and I'm wondering which you prefer.
Say that again.
Sorry, I have
Sorry.
questions about the proposed salary schedule and the benefits, which we've discussed here, but we also have as agenda item number 5 under new business. When would you rather have
Questions about those?
those questions?
So let me open these, and then we can refer back to this.
Okay.
No problem.
Okay,
Thank you. If there's,
so then there's only one thing that I have on this before we then go to
Go
that,
ahead.
if I may.
Yeah, of
Are you
course.
going to change to section?
Yep,
to-
go
okay.
ahead.
So on this, the only thing I just want to double click on, please, Dr. Bartlett, is on, it's labeled page 1, it's physically page 2 of the straw budget.
What line?
I'm getting there, just a
Okay.
sec. It is 9, insurance fund.
Yes,
Just to call out, I think that there's something incorrect there.
Yes.
You kind of mentioned that, but just want to make sure that caught your attention.
yes, it did. I have it
Okay.
circled,
Right,
increase.
awesome, thank you.
perfect.
And then everything else I have can wait until you open the new section.
And then also that difference between the
Yes, the
reduction
130.
in the classroom site fund and the amount that's being added into M&O, to make sure that we know what's going on there, that's correct.
What I'm assuming is our salary differential.
Probably.
Because of our salary differential, we didn't need to add the whole
Quite as much.
225 because we had
That
a
probably makes
larger,
sense, but,
a
yeah.
larger differential.
Okay.
Is what I'm 99% sure that's what it is.
Thank you. Any other remaining questions about the straw budget? Okay. Write them down for next time.
Again, mine will wait until section 5. just
Sure.
to-
So Our new business items this evening, 5.1, 5.2, and 5.3, all relate to salaries, benefits, and the first round of certified contracts, which there are only a few types of agenda items that we see for action on a first reading. This is one of them. And we'll go through them one by one, although they're very related. I think we can have a discussion how they intersect, but we will take action. We are being asked to take action this evening. I'd ask Associate Superintendent Mindy Westover to start us out with an explanation, if you can, please. Item 5.1 is approval of the professional salary wage schedule for 2026, 2027, but if you could just explain why we're doing this as an action, why we're discussing these as action items this evening as opposed to 2 readings as we typically do.
Well, we are doing our best to get contracts out to teachers as quickly as possible. As you know, the state allows us to offer contracts to teachers on March 15th. And so we're trying to get out as quickly as we can. And so in order to get contracts out, we have to know what the approved budget proposal for next year's compensation is in order to do that. So allowing our teachers to have contracts in hand ensures that they have employability next year. Also helps us if we need to go out for new hires in any position to move quickly on that as well.
Does also, if you're able to offer contracts sooner, like tomorrow,
Right.
Towards the front end of that, when that window opens, does that also give employees a longer period of time?
They still
to
have the
respond?
same amount of time to respond.
Oh, they do? Is it 15 business days?
15 business days.
Okay.
And I just want to correct, we always do an action item on this.
Yeah, that's what I-
Chris, because we have already done our executive sessions to
Yes.
discuss
Yes.
these proposals.
Yes.
So that
Thank
it's
you for that
always
clarification.
an action item on the first reading on this.
This is not new to us.
Right.
No.
We've actually had 2
Yes.
executive sessions on this, so this is not new to us.
I think the only new part is we've pushed up
Yes.
a meeting so that we can be closer to that March 15th, to be honest, because that's when our fellow school districts around here are going out. So
Got
it allows us to stay competitive with those positions. So we appreciate you being willing to move this up for us.
Yeah, and
Absolutely. And I just want to underscore the amount of time and effort that Dr. Bartlett and Ms. Westover, you've put into this together with your staffs, and the amount of time that we as a board have spent on this over the last 4 weeks, I think it's been 4 weeks. It's reflective of an immense number of hours by many, many, many people running a number of scenarios to get us to this point. And so I just want to express my gratitude to you and your staffs for that time, and also to my fellow board members for the number of extra hours that each of us have put in, including on weekends, to meet and discuss this very important information.
And so with that. Thank you. Item 5.1.
Okay, item 5.1. So tonight, you're going to see attached is the proposed 2026-2027 professional salary schedule with increment steps on the schedule of $910. The proposal also includes an increase to the starting salary to $54,000, which will keep us very competitive in the Tucson area. We are recommending a vertical step movement for all certified employees on the proposed salary schedule of an $1,000 longevity addendum for each employee who was hired before December 1st, 2025, and is returning for the 2026-2027 school year. The $1,000 longevity addendum will be prorated based on an employee's FTE, and this will result in an increased cost to the maintenance and operations budget of $1,007,573, which you just saw that dollar amount. This vertical step movement and longevity addendum will result in a $2,910 increase in compensation per certified employee with a 1.0 FTE. This is between a 3.2% and a 5.2% increase when the step movement and the addendum are considered together for an average compensation increase of 4.06%. That is the package. Are there questions that I can answer or take?
Yes, absolutely. Thank you. So first of all, very much appreciate, again, the diligence that you've put into this work. I'd like to ask you to comment, please, on this longevity bonus. So, or longevity addendum, apologies to use the right terminology. A $1,000 longevity addendum. I know that you explored a scenario of instead, for example, adding that into as a permanent salary increase. We also explored scenarios of that going for additional benefits coverage. And you've netted out at the recommendation here that is a longevity addendum. So can you speak to your thought process there, please?
Sure. So the $1,000, like you said, the $1,000 longevity stipend, if we were to put that back into the salary schedule, that would be an incurred cost that we would have to adjust. Our M&O would hit our M&O budget every year, so it is more difficult to maintain that. So we want to make sure that we're not over stressing our budget, and this allows us to give that $1,000, that increase in salary to our teachers without potentially committing to that for our salary package year after year. That doesn't mean that every year this is where we are. It just means in the current financial world with decreasing enrollment, it's not necessarily wise to continue to up. This allows us to do what we can, but also maintain our current M&O budget, knowing that we do have a slight decline in enrollment. It also allows us to put the money into compensation, which does help employees because their retirement is based on their overall pay. If we put this into benefits, then they will not receive that as a result of their compensation when they are looking at retirement, and retirement takes their top years of salary. So, you know, it does impact an employee long-term when we can put more into salary. And so we've made the decision that we think it's best that our employees would benefit long-term from that cost being in salary versus in benefits.
Thank you.
We also have, not all of our employees take the benefits either.
Right.
So, or are eligible for the benefit. So if we just put it there, that's not going to get to every employee. So we wanted to make sure that the compensation was going to get to every employee.
Thank you. And then speaking of benefits, my understanding is that the proposal is to keep our benefits contribution static year on year, just over $6,000 if memory serves me correctly. I believe that then ensures that we're still covering one plan in totality.
Correct.
Can you speak to that, please?
Can I ask, we're going to approve
That's going to be the
next.
next
That's the next
agenda
item.
item.
So let's just.
Apologies.
That's okay. Can we just hold that for 1
Apologies.
second?
We can hold that.
That's okay.
Yep.
But I did want to.
But that question will be asked in the next section.
I'll be ready because we'll have a motion at the end.
Absolutely. You're right. Thank you.
No problem. So, but to piggyback on Gina's question, so I understand that the $1,000 longevity addendum relieves the pressure of the issue of sustainability over time,
correct.
but yet the recommendation is to increase starting at 1,000. So you are making some commitment.
And I think that, yes,
Yes.
and that really has to do with, we want our salary to be competitive with the other districts in the area. And so we believe that a small increase in that area is necessary at this time.
And we didn't increase it last year.
No.
Right.
So we kept it the same last year, so we felt like we needed to make that permanent increase to our salary schedule.
And without the addendum, the longevity addendum, the average increase is about 2.7% as opposed to the 4% that it's going to be, which is a little bit closer at least to that 2% funding bump that we're required to get from the legislature each year. So it's a little bit more of a match and certainly more sustainable than trying to sustain a 4% increase forever rather than a 2.7 against a 2% increase in funding. So it's just a better match to do it this way.
Correct.
And why we feel better
Yes.
about doing that $1,000 increase to the salary structure itself, because we do get 2% of money. Maybe
And
someday it'll be more than 2%.
And we're
who
cognizant
knows,
of
but-
why we call it an addendum.
Yes.
Because if we called it a bonus, then it's taxed at a higher rate. So an addendum is not going to be taxed at a higher rate. So we're very cognizant of the wording that we're using. And it's an addendum, not a bonus.
Exactly.
And I do believe that because we, last year, were conservative and chose not to invest it in our salary schedule, I think that has allowed us to, look at that a little fresher this year so that we did have a little bit more there to look at. So I think it is helpful to us that we didn't last year, and I think we're in a better position this year due to some of those decisions from last year.
Yeah, we didn't have the district additional assistance fund level that we had. I mean, our fund was not as high as it is now. And we've been able to preserve some of the funds in our DAA because of our bonds.
Right.
So we haven't had to spend a lot out of our DAA, so we feel like we have some room to work with the DAA on that.
Which is why we're, encouraging the full amount there with the addendum. We feel like that is good because we'd like to give as much as we can, obviously, to our employees, and we feel comfortable with that amount.
I think it's also another opportunity to give a shout out to our facilities people who are so successful in applying for bonds from
Incredible.
the grant program at the state level, because we have spent millions of dollars on those grant-funded projects that would have had to be spent out of the DAA, which would have depleted that balance and not allowed any kind of a transfer whatsoever.
Correct.
And we'd really be talking about 2% raises in this high inflation environment. So all the little pieces go together, and there's a lot of good reasons why we have that flexibility, and it involves a lot of people working really hard.
It does.
Any other comments or questions about this proposal? Okay. May I have a motion?
You may. Eileen, do you want to do it, or?
Sure. I move the governing board approve the proposed professional salary schedule as presented.
I second.
Oh, this is all, is this all supposed to be one motion? Because normally I thought we did them as separate ones.
You do them separate, yeah.
Okay, so let's do this
Yeah,
one
you did
first.
that
So I
one.
second
You
that
approve
one
the
first.
salary schedule and then you approve the
Okay.
step.
So we have a motion and a second
I
to
second it.
approve the professional salary schedule as presented. All those in favor, please say aye.
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 Opposed? Motion carries 5-0. And the second part of that.
I move the governing board approve a vertical step movement for all certified employees on the proposed professional salary schedule, along with a $1,000 longevity addendum prorated according to full-time equivalency for returning certified employees hired before December 1, 2025, as presented.
Is there a second?
And I second.
Thank you. There's been a motion and a second. All those in favor, please say aye.
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 Opposed? Motion carries 5-0. Thank you. And now to item 5.2, which addresses the district's contribution to the cafeteria plan of employee benefits.
Okay. This one's a long one, so
It's okay.
hang with me here.
That's why I was trying to ask my question earlier. I'm just trying to circumvent.
Spread them out. All right, so this report is going to review the benefit options for qualifying employees available for the 2026-2027. This plan year begins on July 1st, 2026, and ends on June 30th of 2027. So we are, again, looking for medical through Asbate Meritain Health, and as you heard Dr. Bartlett discuss, that our loss ratio has not been ideal, but we have stayed with Meritain and got the 6% increase, which we know a lot of school districts have been hit with a higher one, so the 6% was welcomed. Asbate Meritain Health offered us the 6% increase with no provider disruptions and $15,000 towards a wellness plan. Our plan through Asbate has not changed for over 10 years. Although the percent increase was higher this year,
than the previous year. We were informed that the plans will not go through any changes this year, and we recommend continuing with Asbate Meritain Health for the 2026-27 school year. Active employees will be offered one of 3 benefit plans. The only plan change this year is the removal of the copay gold plan. Employees currently enrolled in this plan will have to select a new plan to enroll in for the 26-27 school year. It is recommended that the district continue the contributions per employee at the current amount of $6,084 annually. Maintaining this amount will allow the contributions to fully cover one of the offered medical plans. The 2 other plans will require employee contribution. There is also a plan for retirees, which is fully funded by the retiree. To offer employees and their families a more affordable medical plan option, we recommend continuing to offer a high deductible health plan paired with a health savings account. The deductible for the high deductible health plan has remained the same for the plan year. Therefore, all medical and prescription drugs are paid up front until the $2,600 deductible for Banner or Aetna are met. The out-of-pocket maximum for this plan is $7,500 for Banner or Aetna. The cost to cover dependents is less, but employees will pay more for the cost of services up front than they have in the past with the other medical plans. The high deductible health plan with health savings account will cost $0 for employees only. And the district will contribute the remainder of district benefit dollars of $678 annually to the employee's health savings account. We recommend the district contribute $33.90 to the HSA per pay period for 20 pay periods for enrolled employees. It's important for employees to keep in mind the first HSA contribution will not be paid until September. Therefore, if any employee has any out-of-pocket expenses in July and August, they can use another form of payment and reimburse themselves from their HSA after they receive district contributions. 2025 HSA maximum contribution limits are $4,400 if enrolled as employees only, and $8,750 if covering any dependents, plus an additional $1,000 catch-up contribution for those 55 and older. So unused funds roll over from one year to the next, and the money stays with the employees should they leave the district. The district will allow employees to change HSA pre-tax contributions at any time during the school year, and I know it says 2025 HSAs, but those amounts have remained the same for the current school year. Value Gold is a plan that will be partially funded through the district's contribution to the cafeteria plan of benefits. It is recommended as an option for employees wishing to participate in a lower cost plan in exchange for an increased obligation in the event of a critical illness. This plan will have a $900 Banner or $1,050 Aetna deductible for employees. It has a yearly cost of $6,696. The employee will fund the difference of $612. We recommend that the district offer this plan as well for employees.
That's employee only, correct?
That is
These
employee
numbers.
only.
Okay, thank you.
And you'll see the different costs for
Oh, yeah.
Banner and Aetna.
I've got lots of
So,
charts.
yeah, they offer a discount if you use Banner Network. So that's why they have the different amounts for the deductibles. So if you're using all Banner, you get a $900 deductible, but if you're using Banner and Aetna and intermixed, then it's a higher deductible.
Okay, and the last plan is the Classic Gold. This is a plan that the employee will need to supplement the district's contribution to fully cover the cost. The yearly rate is $7,440. We recommend that the district continue to contribute the $6,084 for eligible employees. The employee will fund the difference of $1,356. If choosing this plan will have a $540 Banner or $600 Aetna deductible for the employee. Medical plans for 2026, 2027 are highlighted in the attached benefits summary, and the medical rates are as follows. So I'm not going to read all those dollars amounts for you, but we do have the HSA, and you can see the current amount for each for each coverage. So an employee only, an employee plus spouse, an employee plus children, or an employee plus family. And you can see the dollar amounts, and these are annual amounts. So you can see all of the plans, how much they have increased by
They're actually monthly
costs.
It's a $450 a month times 12 months to get the total premium.
Yes.
The total annual premium.
Yes, the
Yes,
total annual
yes.
premium.
And did you elected to continue, you emphasized no change in plans. I assume that's something that you consistently hear employees want.
Last
continuity
year, we had a big increase to the deductibles of all the plans and the co-pays. So those did not increase. This year, they stayed the same. So last year, although our percentage, the cost increased, the premium cost increased, was small. So we had like a 4% last year. But then we had a big change to the plans. So
it was still out of pocket.
yes. So it was nice to hear that the plans weren't changing this year, that it was a 6% increase, yes, to the premiums, but it wasn't to the plans as well.
We're also sensitive to the disruption. So
Mhm.
when you change
Yeah.
providers,
Absolutely.
if we went from ASBE to
Right.
Blue Cross Blue Shield to Cigna to, you're going to be changing providers. This is no interruption of the providers.
I think that's valuable.
The Value Gold plan is the retiree plan, and that is for 26-27 school year. There will be an 11.6% rate increase for retirees. It has a 600 individual and a 1,200 family. Calendar year deductible for banner services are $750 individually, $1,500 family calendar year deductible for Aetna providers. There is a 28 banner or 35 Aetna copay for office visits and 25% coinsurance after the deductible for other in-network services. Historically, the retiree rates have increased 5% or more. The retiree rates are as follows. So then you've got a chart for their rates.
Big increase for them.
It is.
And that's funded completely by them.
Yes, but compared to years past, this is a very affordable plan for retirees. We used to have really astronomical costs, which no retirees would ever take the plan. We do have retirees who are on this plan now because it is a much more reasonably priced plan.
Absolutely. Really, when I look at that, that's pretty amazing.
So with our medical, we also have our employee assistance program. The employee assistance program is no cost to the district when enrolled in ASBE medical plan. And this is a savings of $7,361 annually to the district. The rates are guaranteed until June 30th. We have telemedicine, which they've continued to expand. And this program is at no additional cost to the district when enrolled in ASBE medical, and has expanded to include primary 360 and behavioral health, which was a new component. Dental, if we're ready to move to dental. We have two dental plans. The first one is Solstice Emeritus S800B. We recommend continuing with that as our dental provider. This plan offers $5 copay office visits and $0 copay for exams and cleanings. The rates for this plan will be guaranteed until June 30th, 2027, and you'll see the rates in the chart, and there was no increase to that plan. Retiree rates are the same as for active employees. And then the other plan is our Emeritus for dental. It is recommended that Emeritus Passive PPO be continued for our second coverage option for dental. This plan offers a $50 deductible and 100% coverage on preventative services 2 times a year and increased orthodontia maximum age to 26. Rates are guaranteed for until June 30th, 2027. And again, that plan was at no increase. And again, rates are the same for our retirees. So those are our 2 dental plans, and those plans were new last year. So again, this is no change this year and no rate change. And then vision is still with Avisis. It is recommended to continue with them. There was no increase to this plan this year, and the plan has a large network of providers, including Walmart and Costco, and the rates are guaranteed until June of 2027. The rates are there. Basic life and accidental death and
Sorry,
dismemberment.
but going back up to dental, sorry.
It's okay.
Those rates are monthly as well, is that correct? It's just not labeled? Okay. Thank you.
So basic life and accidental death and dismemberment and voluntary life is through Minnesota Life. It is recommended to continue basic and voluntary employee independent life insurance with Minnesota Life. There is a 10.8% rate increase for basic life for the 2026-2027 school year, and rates will be guaranteed until 2029. So the basic insurance guarantee issues amount is at $50,000 per employee. This is fully funded by the district. The voluntary life insurance guarantee issues amounts stayed at the current level of $250,000 for employees, $50,000 for spouses, and $10,000 for children. Minnesota Life does not have any age reduction schedules in place for employees, which is nice. And then on the back page, you'll see that increase for basic life. And so that's where you're gonna see that little bump in the straw budget the next time you see it. And then the voluntary life did stay at the same. So voluntary short-term disability, we recommend continuing short-term disability coverage with Madison National Life. There is no rate increase and rates are guaranteed until June of 2027. This coverage is fully funded by the employee. We also have pet care through MetLife. It's recommended to continue with MetLife for our pet insurance provider. There are multiple fee structures offered with different deductibles and copays. Different breeds may have different costs. There is a 5% discount for a second animal and a 10% for 3+ animals. This plan includes both accidental and illness coverage. Pet care coverage is fully funded by the employee. We also have COBRA is through ASBATE. COBRA administration is at no cost to the district when enrolled in ASBATE medical plans. This is a savings of $2,352 annually to the district. Rates will be guaranteed until June of 2027. Flexible spending accounts, or FSAs, ASI Flex, it is recommended to continue our flexible spending with ASI Flex for administrative services. This rate is guaranteed for the life of the contract.
Never increases. It will never increase as long as we keep them.
Yeah.
Interesting.
Yeah.
I know.
And then lastly, we have tax sheltered annuities, or TSA. TSA Consulting Group is the administrator of tax shelter annuities, and they provide the administrative and record-keeping services for participants contributing to a 403B and a 403B Roth accounts. There is no administrative cost to the district. All costs are paid by the participants. So, Gina, you get the first question.
Thank you. Which you've already answered in your presentation, so thank you very much for that. Just to,
Can you go back and
I was
show
just
it?
gonna say, yeah, just to recap what it was, is, I was asking if the $6,084 contribution per employee for the medical plan was still going to be enough to cover at least one medical plan, and you've explained that it is. It will cover one of the plans, which is the high deductible health plan, and actually it covers it and includes it comes in at $678 under the cost, and so that amount will then go into the employee's HSA. So thank you for that. Since I have the mic, I have a question too. ASBATE, we've been talking about ASBATE, and I think it would be helpful for anyone who might be reading these minutes or listening in later to just briefly explain what is ASBATE, and why do we work with them, so on and so forth. So can I ask one of you to speak to that, please?
I'll do my best.
Okay,
I'm going to have you.
I can fill in.
It is a conglomerate of school districts that have decided to join together. There's a board, and they try their best to get us the best rates, and they are working with
Arizona School
Banner.
Boards.
Arizona,
It's
okay.
through the Arizona School Boards Association. And it is a pool. It is a it's a pooling system. So all the districts, they take all of their employees and they pool it. So you might be a district with 137% loss ratio, and another district might have a 28% loss ratio, and you're pooled together, so your rates are not gonna be as negatively impacted because you're pooling it all together. So you're having the highs and the lows, and you're finding that average. So they've added 14 new districts this year.
That's what I was gonna
So
say.
the pool is
getting
much
better.
larger, and so that's a benefit to us as well.
Does that keep rates lower as well? Because
Yes.
it's like buying in bulk?
Right,
Yes.
because you have a larger pool.
But our loss ratio probably still does affect our individual rate increases, just
Yes.
it smooths out that effect.
Yes. I think it doesn't, they don't totally just average everything.
Right.
They still give you
Probably still
an
weight.
increase. Yeah, you're still weighted based on your loss ratio.
And isn't, ASBATE is an acronym, and isn't it, it's Arizona School Boards Association something?
Insurance trust?
Insurance
That
trust.
makes sense. There you go.
So, is our membership in ASBA then entitle us to tap into this? If we didn't, if we weren't members of ASBA, would we then not be allowed to participate in ASBATE?
No, they've changed that recently. So you can participate in ASBATE without being a member of ASBA.
And I think it's beneficial for, districts our size or smaller, because you're able to join a group. And we're not one of the larger districts, we're kind of one of the medium-sized districts, and it allows us, with the amount of employees we have, to get a competitive rate.
How long have we been with ASBATE at this point? Because I know at one point we were not with ASBATE.
Right,
and
we
went
were
back
with
to
Blue
ASBATE.
Cross and Blue Shield.
Yes.
Right, and that was not a pool.
Right.
That was not a trust. It was just, we were,
On our own.
rated based on our loss ratio.
Like any other employer going out to
Like
get a
any
plan.
other employer. It became untenable for us because our loss ratio was high, our rates were very high. We just really couldn't afford that anymore. So about 5 years ago, I believe, that we've been with the trust. But we were with the trust prior as
to
well.
that, yes.
So we were with the trust, we left the trust, and then we went back to the trust.
And so historically, our loss ratio has generally been high.
The last 10 to 12 years, yes.
Which makes it difficult when we go out and shop
Correct.
outside of ASBATE because we're dealing with our loss ratio as a standalone loss ratio.
Correct.
So when you look at a 6% increase inside ASBATE, do we know whether any kind of other options would have been available
That's what I was
for
gonna ask.
that level of an increase?
About shopping.
Or less,
Do
yeah.
we shop it around still? I mean,
So the last time we went out was 2 years ago, and we had 3 companies bid. One was ASBATE, and 2 we had never heard of. It wasn't like a Cigna, it wasn't a Blue Cross, it was an
Scary.
unknown.
yeah.
Yeah, that's very
And
scary.
yeah, we did not feel that that was going to be in our best interest to do that, so we remained with the trust.
We don't shop it every year because our experience tells us
But if our loss ratio does stay down or continues to stay trending that direction, that might be a different conversation next year
Right.
when we're at this time. And so we're always watching that. I mean, I watch that every month to see where we're at. And we work with our consulting company to determine, yep, we think we're in the prime, we're ready. So I'm hopeful. Denise laughs at me because I'm always like, oh, we had a good month. And she's like, oh, wait till Christmas, wait till December hits. Everybody's gonna go to the doctor. Wait till July.
Whenever there's a school break, lots of
course.
lots of appointments.
But we are watching it closely, and obviously we want to, make sure we're providing the best that we can get for
And
our
so
employees.
we also use a consultant to help us through this process.
Yes, we do.
So I would imagine they advise us whether or not, based on our loss ratio and whatever factors, whether or not shopping is an exercise we should go through, or if it's something that's just going to be spinning our
We
wheels.
always kind
or
of prepare for
Yes.
it.
You always
Yes.
prepare to shop?
Prepare to go out
Yes.
until their rates come in on March 1st. We get their rates on March 1st. So if on March 1st, their rates are reasonable, we decide, are we going to go out or not? But we're always prepared to go out
Gotcha.
if they're really unreasonable rates.
Well, and I would think that a big part of that, I would think a big factor in that would be the continuity.
Yes.
You know,
yeah.
like, right, the risk of going out is then then everything changes, and that's really nerve-wracking for families.
Well, and if we go out, then we're not guaranteed the ASBE rates then. 'Cause
Right,
they
of
can come
course.
back higher then.
Right, of course.
They can bid the same thing higher. So it's a gamble. It's somewhat of a gamble.
So with respect to this 6% increase, did you consider adding 6% to the contribution so that the district could cover that 6% as opposed to maintaining the current level? And why obviously you decided against that, if there was a decision made? I'll let you take it.
Okay, we did consider that, and that would be a permanent increase to our budget that we didn't feel that we could sustain, which is why we went with the addendum, because we wanted to provide some more compensation for them, for our employees, but we didn't feel comfortable sustaining that and making that a permanent increase in our budget. And putting that into our benefits would do that. Also, we weighed the number of employees who are eligible for benefits. And if we just put it in there and not into a compensation increase, that doesn't affect every employee. So those were and then as she said, increasing compensation has a long-term benefit with retirement.
Right, of course.
Contributions to a medical plan does not have that long-term benefit.
And doing both would not be fiscally responsible.
We didn't feel like we had, then we would not be offering an addendum. It would be one or the other.
And given that not all employees use the
And-
health insurance.
And
Or
that it would
equitable.
be, we'd have to sustain that.
Because, well,
You could always change
you don't have to,
change your
but-
contribution the next year, but then you're giving people a salary reduction.
Then,
Correct.
Then you're taking
Right,
away.
which is not,
Correct.
Right.
not
The
ever,
important part is that we're still covering 100% of a health plan.
We are.
Right.
And not only 100%, but also still with $650-ish dollars going into their HSA. And so to me, that's very important and very meaningful.
They keep, that's their
Exactly.
money.
And that
Always.
transfers with them should they choose to leave the district, for example, which hopefully they don't. But
Correct.
HSA is very different from FSAs in that the money
Yes.
follows the employees.
Yes.
I'm very proud of that. The other thing that I'll add is when we look at the projected increases, the known increases for 2026 calendar year and the projected increases for 2027 calendar year of insurance costs in the state of Arizona, the ACA and access costs are forecasted to are increasing by upwards of 20%. We're well into double-digit increases there in terms of the cost of insurance for people living in our state. So the fact that ASBATE is able to keep our costs to a quote-unquote only a 6%. I'm not trying to minimize that
No,
increase.
no, right,
I
right.
appreciate that is a substantive
But
increase.
the context is important.
But the context is really important, and their highest increase, if I heard you correctly earlier, was 8%. So to me, that really speaks volumes about the benefits of the buying power of partnering with fellow boards across the state, and then the buying power that gives to ASBATE to negotiate these rates for all of the school districts. So just wanted to provide that context there as well.
And that there was no increase to the co-pays or.
Right.
Exactly.
Which, no plan changes. We felt pretty good about that. Because
Absolutely.
last year there was
Deductible
some very
Absolutely.
drastic
yeah,
changes.
I will say the high deductible plan, and $2,500, I think that's about what it was. 26 is a high deductible, but as far as high deductible plans go, $2,600 is on the low end.
It's
Great.
the lowest.
Very much on the low end.
600 is already paid for.
Yes.
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 And I think if it's like other high deductible plans, much of the preventative care that's offered under the plan, am I right that it is not
Yes.
subject to the deductible?
Correct.
No.
So employees can get their, and high deductible plans are sometimes hard to sell because of that high deductible. But when you understand the ins and outs about how they work and the fact that the preventative care is not subject to the deductible, you can get a lot of medical care without experiencing a hit to that deductible hit. And I just think as we continue to educate people about how this works, I think
we'll see people more understand the benefits of a high deductible plan because
I think
those,
the telemedicine is an example.
Absolutely.
Well, it used to cost you if you were on the high deductible plan.
Mhm.
You used to have to pay the cost, the copay, or the cost of it.
Mhm.
Now that's included. So they're making some concessions with our high deductible plan as well.
Right.
And we did have those 60 employees on the copay gold that is going away, and
Yeah.
they
That's the
will.
plan we've been grandfathering
Right, but
out
that
for
was
so
also our
long,
most
yeah.
expensive plan.
Yeah.
So those employees will receive, it'll be a benefit. Yeah, I think it was a minus 2 or 4% on that plan
2.4%.
if they went to the one of
Even
the
the
more
next,
expensive
the
ones,
highest
even
plan.
the highest
Right.
plan.
If they
They're
go
still-
from copay gold even to the highest plan, our
Classic for the.
classic gold,
Yeah.
Mhm.
it's gonna be a reduction for them.
And just to be clear, that's not new news for those affected
No,
employees.
we've been
They've
telling
been
them
told
for
for
years
quite a
that
while
it's-
that this
We were
plan is
informed
phasing
last
out.
year.
Well, we haven't allowed any new employees to select that
years,
plan
yeah.
for years, and now, and then last year, we did inform all employees that that plan was going away. Shouldn't be a surprise.
And can you just remind me, when, when whatever plan are shared with employees, how are you educating them on what the
Sure.
differences are
Yeah,
and how they work? And
So we, when we do open enrollment periods, last year we asked them, like, what's the best way to get the information? We asked all the groups, and there was a very small percentage. I think we had like less than 10 employees that wanted it in person, and we did that. But we also provided them with a video that they could watch on their own, and then we provided them with a way to ask questions that would go directly to our benefits coordinator, and she was able to answer those questions like either virtually or by calling them. We kind of did like a hotline number. And then they could also, like, it was just a form where they could get in and put their question. And so we were monitoring it in multiple ways. We tried to give it to them in multiple formats. But it is like a Brain Shark video that they can watch, and so it's narrated, walks them through it. Even when we did the in-person one, I did that, along with, we brought in all of our providers' support to that meeting, so they had an opportunity to, get some freebies, but I think there were maybe 6 people at the meeting. So we're finding that most of them are kind of liking to self-select on their time of watching the videos and then answering questions along the way. I will say our customer service, in terms of, we really try to answer each individual employees, and our HR department really tries to address those issues for employees. And they also spend time when we get new employees in, talking about the benefits, going over everything with them, talking them through selections. So I think that there's a lot of support if it's needed, but we
can't recommend a
Right.
No, of course not. Just
And that's what they would really like, right?
Right. What
Just
should
tell
I
me
do?
which one should I
Tell me
do?
which I should do.
And we can't do that, but there is support. Understanding insurance.
It's
is
not easy.
very
It's mind-numbing.
difficult.
It is. Yeah.
So the questions, I'm always surprised that we don't have more questions.
Yeah.
Which is why we did offer many different ways for them to access information about it, because it is difficult to understand. And if you're not familiar with deductibles and co-insurance and all those terms, it can be really daunting to decide which plan to go with.
And I didn't get to highlight, but you do have all of our plans and the changes for
It's
the
so
upcoming
tiny.
year. It's tiny,
So
but it does
tiny.
have every,
But,
it's
yeah.
really detailed in terms of copays
Yes,
and
it is
everything
great.
there, so
Thank you.
if you ever wanted to blow it up.
Thank you. Nice. It's easier on the computer to do.
Yeah.
Are there any other comments or questions, Tom?
I have one of each.
That-
The question first, Dr. Bartlett, you mentioned earlier, and I wonder if you could just elaborate a little bit, if we declared an intent to go out and shop around, we could not necessarily, we wouldn't be guaranteed the ASBATE rate that they're offering us now.
Correct. Correct. They could bid it at a higher rate because we're out for bid.
And
We're
then we
not
would be locked in.
guaranteed, if we go out for bid, we're not guaranteed, this is a guaranteed rate that they give us on March 1st.
So we have to decide.
tricky of them.
We don't have a choice, we can't do both.
No, no.
No. We can't say, we got this, so what can you give us?
Yes, no, we cannot do that. Now, we can see the rate and go, well, we think we can do better, and we're gonna go out and shop.
That's where our consultants come in, I'm
Yes.
assuming.
Right.
And so so we have a consultant who sees all of this happening bigger picture and is advising on, you're not going to do better than this, or something to that effect. Anecdotally, are you kind of hearing the same pain from other superintendents in other districts? Are we fortunate compared to others? Are we about on par?
Well, like I said, we're right in the middle. Some people got less of an increase, and some people got more.
And that was from within the ASBATE range that they provided, right? Or is
Right,
that?
but most of the school
Our
districts,
cohort, yeah.
unless they're self-insured, which we're not, many of the school districts are with ASBATE because it's the most cost-effective for them.
I think.
I'm assuming ASBATE is not for profit. Do we know?
I don't know that.
Must have to be.
Trust, I'm sure they're
Yeah.
making their money somehow.
Well, I mean, they're paying their people, but if it's, I mean, like it's not for profit like in a traditional insurance company. I don't know the answer to the question. I can Google it at another time. I was just curious.
I can find that out too.
But that is probably one of the ways that they keep their costs down, if that's the case.
And my only comment, as painful as any increases to something like this, that feels kind of thankless, 6% more for the same.
Yeah.
I come from a small business perspective where, for the last 20 years, every single year, it's been a double-digit premium increase, along with benefits that have gotten worse every year.
The deductible.
So this is kind of best case scenario, I feel like, for what's available out there. I mean, mine went up 15, 20% last year. I know
65%.
65%, yeah.
$72.50 deductible.
Wow.
That's crazy.
It is.
Anyway, that was my comment. Little Debbie Downer there.
Actually, I think it's an upper.
Well, it's an
I think
upper,
Yeah,
yes.
I mean, if you personally, which I'm sorry about, but I think it's an upper in terms of the school district, right?
Right.
That this, it's good to have these anecdotal touch points and benchmarks, to really help us, reassure us that the due diligence is being done. And again, very grateful to you and your staff for all the time that you spend in ensuring we're getting the best for every single employee.
And understanding the insurance, just what it means.
Yeah,
And
absolutely.
that service to our employees.
Everyone is satisfied that questions have been asked and answered. There are two motions also at the bottom of 5.2. So would someone care to make the first motion?
I move that the governing board provide full-time benefit eligible employees $6,084 toward a cafeteria plan of benefit options available from July 1st, 2026 until June 30th, 2027 to employees working between 30 and 40 hours prorated based on their respective full-time equivalencies as presented.
Thank you. Is there a second?
Second.
There's been a motion and a second. All those in favor, please say aye.
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 Opposed? Motion carries 5-0. Second part of that?
I also move the governing board approve the list of benefit providers as presented.
For a second?
Second?
There's been a motion and a second. All those in favor, please say aye.
Aye.
Aye. Opposed? Motion carries 5-0.
Thank you.
Thank you for that.
Very long memo.
Yeah, I know.
And
We had a
discussion.
few drafts.
That's right, it's important. Agenda item 5.3 is the approval of first round of certified contracts for 2026, 2027.
Yay.
Yay.
Yes,
Westover.
so all of this comes together, and we now get to present the governing board for governing board's review and approval is the attached list of professional staff being offered contracts for the 2026-2027 school year, along with copies of the contracts and addenda to be issued. So you have copies of all the different types, and all the names, positions, and FTEs.
And this is first round.
This is first round. We will have second round for employees that were non-renewed. There are a few positions that are on the first round that were non-renewed, which are math, science, and special ed.
Say that again, I'm sorry, what three did you say?
Math, science, and special ed.
Okay. Got it. I didn't count this, but it's a lot.
Probably what, 75% of our?
It's a large amount.
Yeah, it's probably 75% or more of
Yes.
our employees.
Well, I count 651.
No.
Oh, no, because you
Can't
know
be.
what, all the
There's the
addendums are in
The
there.
addenda are in
so
there, yeah.
It's not that many individual people.
651 pay lines.
Pay lines, but yeah. it doesn't-
Divide that by
Yes.
2 or 3.
Yeah,
Some of them
divided
have
by
two.
2.5 or something like that would be about how many contracts this is.
Wonderful. Any
Say sign 'em up.
questions, comments? It's such a pleasure.
Well,
I know.
everything that we've been talking about prior to this agenda item is what's rolled up into these
Yes.
contracts
Correct.
for this first round of people. So,
And if approved tonight, then they will get their contracts electronically tomorrow.
I do have a couple questions, if I may. So one is, you mentioned that this is, does include some non-renewables in math, science, and special education. Can you just speak to why we include those in this first round of contract issuance, please?
Sure. Those positions notoriously have been hard to fill, and so we work to make sure that those employees get their contracts as quickly as possible. And although the hiring market's been a little better this year, we still felt those particular areas were areas that we wanted to make sure that people had a guarantee that they had a position out there, because there are other school districts also looking for math, science, and special ed.
That's notoriously where we have the vacancies.
yes.
Yeah.
Math, science, and special education. So those are where we typically have vacancies. So
Thank you. And then in terms of the addendums, on the exhibit, we see the longevity addendum, which we discussed earlier, of $1,000 per returning teacher, prorated, of course. We see a couple of other types of addenda, I guess to use the plural, a master's and a national board certification addenda. Can you just speak briefly to those, please?
Sure. The district also offers a $1,000 addenda for anyone who has a master's degree that supports the area that they are teaching in. So master's degrees that are out of area aren't necessarily relevant, but if they are relevant to the position, then they are awarded. And then if a teacher does become nationally board certified, we recognize that, or a psychologist also can become nationally board certified. We would also recognize that, as we believe that it directly impacts the job that they're doing, and so those addenda follow for advanced schooling and advanced certifications.
Thank you.
So we also have addenda for our learning support specialists and our instructional coaches. And they are not eligible for pay for performance. So this is for additional work that they do out. They have additional days beyond their contract, as well as some sort of, we calculate, they don't get exactly what pay for performance would be, but they get a sum that kind of compensates so that we can get people to do these positions. Otherwise, they don't want to do them because I don't get pay for performance, and I'd rather have pay for performance. So we do have the addenda for that as well, for our instructional coaches, our learning support specialists as well.
Because that could be a paid decrease for someone to go into those positions.
Sure.
So it's
But they do have extra days as well as compensation. So they work a longer contract.
I apologize, I forgot about those guys.
No, good
Awesome,
question.
thank you.
So I know there's a group of very experienced, tenured instructors who have retired and come back that are not represented here and received one of the non-renewal letters. So what's the process by which they are invited back?
They will be the next round, so our next meeting. What we'll do is obviously, we're making sure that we have the students and to justify the staffing, and that we have the need. And as we have the need, we will keep those positions, and we will see them in 2 weeks. So when we have our next board meeting, we will offer contracts for any of the non-renewals that we would like to bring back, and our retired employees are part of that group. You're welcome.
Any other questions about these contracts?
No?
I'm good. I think whoever made the motion to non-renew should make those.
That's
But I don't know
me.
who that was.
I get
I
that
don't know
pleasure.
who that was.
I
Sorry.
remember who that was because I needed to do it.
Go
so.
ahead.
And so before I do, I just want to again thank you and your staffs for all of the hard work that got us to this point. Tonight we've spent a great deal of time discussing it, but again, there's been many, many, many hours by many, many, many people to get us to this stage. So thank you very much for that. So with that said, it's my pleasure to move to the motion. I move the governing board approve the professional staff contracts and addenda for the 2026-2027 school year as presented, and that they direct them to be issued to the staff members listed as presented.
Thank you. Is there a second?
Second.
Been a motion and a second. All those in favor, please say aye.
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 Opposed? Motion carries 5-0. Thank you. That feels good.
It sure does.
It does.
And thank you for letting us communicate to the staff prior to this evening's meeting, so that they were made aware of the increases prior to reading it
Reading it in a packet,
reading it
yeah.
in the board packet. So we appreciate that you allow us to communicate with them prior to this meeting.
Thank you.
You are welcome. For discussion and reports this evening, we have our standing item 6.1, which allows us to discuss any Arizona legislative or
laughs.
governmental activity that may be happening. Jacqueline's laughing. She's
Just
the one who
everyone's-
stays on
a couple
top.
people snickered as well. So.
Well, 'tis the season.
It's the season.
Yeah.
Well, I think one thing that's moving forward, which I think we all got the email to write about, was the mandatory training for board members. I think that's moving forward and is probably going to the governor's desk soon, is what I'm hearing. So,
Just to clarify, that the training that we have received via ASBA would not necessarily be, it would, the training.
Qualify?
Yes.
Really?
Correct. Would have to
It
be
would
done.
not.
no.
Who would be doing
Unless-
this
well-
training? Do we know?
County superintendents or ADE.
Is it training we have to pay for?
We don't know yet.
That's not been determined, I'm sure. I'm sure it would be.
Oh, interesting. I mean, I know we pay for ASBA, but if they're not going to allow ASBA to count, then
Unfunded
it's
mandate.
become yet another unfunded mandate, yes.
Wouldn't be the first time.
I mean,
I
I
have
have
a
no
hard
objection to training as a board member,
of
but
course.
I have a hard time imagining them getting this training up and running
anytime soon.
anytime soon,
Right.
without relying on as
An
as the
organization.
training. So I have a hard time believing that, but I don't know.
Is it meant to cover the things that we typically cover for
Yes.
like open meeting laws and?
Everything ASBA does?
Fiscal, budgeting.
A lot of
Yeah.
budget.
all of those.
Mhm.
Okay,
Interesting.
well, we'll see what actually lands, what gets signed into law, what gets referred to the ballot, what initiatives come forward.
Right.
There will be some for sure.
The other part of that email was mandated, was term limits for school
Yes.
board
Board
members as
members
well.
to 2 terms, which is really a terrible
Detrimental.
idea,
Detrimental.
very detrimental.
Well, it's detrimental in that it's not like there's a plethora of people lining up to run for these positions.
Correct.
And
Especially in smaller rural districts, I think it would be
yeah.
disproportionately penalized with those.
yeah,
And then I read also recently that, I believe it was a strike, everything, I could be wrong, once again, I think this would be the 3rd year in a row to have school board elections become partisan.
I do not think Governor Hobbs
I
is
don't
in
think
favor
so
of that.
either.
no, I don't think so
I
either.
think she has vetoed that
She
I
has
believe.
voted.
twice.
Yeah.
Yes. so.
Third time's a charm.
Muscle memory.
As she puts it, her veto pen is gonna run out of ink soon.
But it hasn't.
It hasn't.
Just hope she gets a new pen.
And nothing, budget, nothing? No budget news? Okay. Terrific.
It usually comes down to the wire, right?
Yeah.
Until all
Yes.
of these
Yep.
bills and.
Despite conventional wisdom that they want to get out of Dodge so that they can go home and campaign.
Yeah, I don't think so.
In previous years, we've seen that that's just not really the case. They don't get it done. Anyway,
All right. Agenda planning for tomorrow.
you and
is-
me?
Yep.
Is there any possibility to move the time from 10 o'clock a little bit later?
Can we look at calendars after?
Yeah.
Is that okay? Because mine's on my phone and.
Yeah, I have to
the
pull
one
my
I
phone out
started-
too, yeah.
Okay, I'm sure we can figure that out.
I can do 10 if I absolutely have to, but if we can move it, that'd be great.
Probably not a problem. Would somebody care to make a motion to adjourn at 9:10 PM?
I motion that we I make a motion that we adjourn.
Is there a second?
I'll second.
Thank you. There's been a motion and a second to adjourn. All those in favor, please say aye.
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 Opposed? Motion carries 5-0. We're adjourned. Thank you.
Nice meeting.
Thank you.
Very
Very productive.
A lot of